We have sailed through 15 weeks of football, and now we've arrived at the last one. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to 615 Preps Live, the state championship week edition, presented by Sellers Funeral Homes. Chris Brooks, along with you, Scott Burton, Joe Spears, Cam Reed, and oh my God, he's alive. Isaac Leadham.
Gone for too long.
It's been way too long.
It's been great to be back.
Find yourself here maybe next week, but
thought CPA man had killed him.
We thought so too, but
it was interesting.
Heard you. Yeah. So here we are, just a few days away from crowning 9 state champions. Several area teams that are going to have a shot at it, and we'll be down in the Chattanooga at Finley Stadium for all those. Guys, let's dive right in. Scott, I'm going to give you the floor first because I know there's something that you wanted to mention right off the top.
Yeah, we're going into the final weekend of our season, but not the final push for the. We have a lot of things left over. We are still looking for a BlueCross Bowl sponsor. It'll be covering. You'll be on our all social media and everything like that. Give me a shout, 615preps@gmail.com. You want to find out about that. We also need a sponsor for our Players of the Year award. And trust me, guys, these ones are special. You're going to want your logo on these. Okay. They are truly special. We're looking for a sponsor for that. We have our coaches sponsor in place. We now need our Player of the Year sponsor for all 3 groups that we have, which is small, medium, and the large classifications. So it's not too late. Get in, get your logo seen. We are growing in viewers every week, and we appreciate that. Thanks to you guys. But if you know of anybody who, like their logo seen by literally thousands of people, and I'm not kidding, literally thousands of people, have them contact us at 615preps@gmail.com, and join the best and the brightest of our sponsors, not us, but the best and the brightest, which are our sponsors. And support high school athletics, help support our programs. I promise you, we're not getting rich off of this. This is really just funding the awards.
Yeah, literally. You just said it. I know I take great pride that we're one of the only companies left out there that don't sit behind a paywall. Everything that we get sponsorship wise literally gets turned right back around into our product. So, great point, Scott.
Yep. Well, let's dive in. Let's talk about those semifinals from last week. Joe, I will start with you unless you're still working on some stuff for later on in the show. You were up there in Springfield.
I am, but Isaac was there, so he can definitely talk about it as well.
Guess what, Isaac? The floor's yours.
It's just Paige. What else do you need to know? It was typical, just dominant. Springfield, they got in it early in the game, but I think most of us saw, Gavin Rush kind of just flipped the entire field with an insane punt that just trapped Springfield at their own 2-yard line. And from there, it was over. Springfield, they fought, they got ahead early. Their crowd was great. They brought a pretty good energy. But, Paige, Brendan Ains, Eric Hazard did not let Springfield go anywhere. And it was a little boring at the end, but that's good football. You're doing good when it's boring to watch.
Yeah, I know that Page defense is not happy anytime they give up points, and considering that was the first time they had trailed all season, probably a little bit more anger in that defense than we thought.
Yeah,
guys, Scott, Cam, anything to add?
Yeah,
go ahead, Cam.
I was just going to say, you kind of mentioned it there. This is the first time we've seen that Page team down this year. And to see them react that way, it just further cements what maybe not, it doesn't cement how dominant their run is, but it cements how focused this group is on their end goal, and that end goal Friday night at 7 o'clock Eastern time, and working their way to bring home the first goal ball in program history.
It continues to amaze me how defensive driven this team is. It seems like their defense actually drives their offense a little bit. Um, you get down, and then all of a sudden you're starting to put up points one after the other. So it seems to me that defensively it sets the tone, but defensively also sets the rhythm and tone for the offense for Page.
Yeah,
That is amazing. But I think it all starts up front. I think the trenches is where Page is literally at its best.
yeah. When we were at the game, me and Joe were talking, and aside from Ensworth, who we said probably has a better up front, maybe Page probably has the best overall defense in the entire state. I mean, there's not much you can argue with that. And also, I mean, you mentioned their offense kind of feeding off their defense. I think that their offense they've adapted with putting William Weebush back there at quarterback. He's very athletic, very adaptive. He knows how to get out of a jam. It's fun to watch.
I mean, I know they're primarily run heavy, but it's really like a pro offense. Really, the way that they go about how they try to stay in front of the chains. They try to get it to second and short, and then try to convert 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. And that's if you're going to try to beat them. I mean, you're going to have to really limit their offensive production, which means getting them behind the sticks, which is going to be really hard to do, especially when that offensive front is as good as they are.
Yeah, and something that I love that they do is they're just so. There were a few penalties, and the Page fans will also tell you a lot of those penalties might not have been totally legitimate, but they seem so just in rhythm. Their offense just seems ready whenever they have a big play and it gets down close to the goal line. They run to the line. They're going pretty fast, and they just run it right at the middle while the defense is still getting ready. They're a very, very well-oiled machine.
There he is. Joe had to hop out for a second. I'm thinking he's having some technical issues.
Yep. It's fun times, having a blast.
Yeah.
I feel for you, Joe. I know you've been struggling today.
Well, while you're here, let's see if we can get your thoughts on Page Springfield real quick.
Yeah, I mean, Page just doing kind of what they did all year. Springfield came out, smacked him in the mouth, and then they said, all right, thank you, sir, may I have another, and just put it on him. So just Page doing what they did. Eric Hazard and Gavin Rush, Isaac hit it spot on, set the tone with that punt, and from there they just kind of dominated, which is that's something to say against a really good Springfield. I mean, that Springfield team may have been the best team they've played all year. So that's a team I think could have brought home a gold ball if they had made it to state, but Page is just doing what they did. Nothing surprised me. Nothing surprises me with Page at this point.
Cam and Scott, both of you were with me up in Lafayette for that spectacle with Macon County and Anderson County, and it was a show. Both teams put on a heck of a one. 43-41 Macon. First time ever that they have hosted a semifinal game, and the first time that they will go to a state championship game.
Yeah, and I'm just going to say to start, I mean, I'm not going to say that it was the state championship game, but I'm going to say the state championship game has a lot to live up to if it wants to top that game. That was a phenomenal football game. One of the best high school games I've seen in person in my lifetime, for sure. The atmosphere did not disappoint, but ultimately it come down to a strength versus a strength, right? We knew that Anderson County was a really dynamic offense, and we knew that Gabe and Zach Borders were special. And ultimately, Gabe Borders had himself a whale of a game and proved that he should have still been a Mr. Football, at least a semifinalist, if not a finalist.
Yeah. First of all, what a crowd. Both sides brought it. Macon County, I know they were there. Truthfully, I know they were there before even the gates opened up. As I drove by about 1 o'clock, there were people already, walking around the field just looking for a hole in the fence. But I mean, what an atmosphere there. I mean, everything The stands were full. The fans were active. There were people lining the field. They brought in extra bleachers and absolutely needed them. It was blue cold out there for the first time in a while, but after the game started, you couldn't feel it because the game was moving at such a pace back and forth and back and forth. I'm going to give Cam props here. I think I did this on the show on Saturday, but I'm going to do it again because I promised I would. Cam said he told Tim Case first 1 to 40 would win, and Macon was the first 1 to 40. So he knew it. He could feel it. I don't know. That'd probably be the last time I compliment you, Cam. So just just you can review this tape whenever you want to, or this video.
I'll get a recording for you so you can have it for posterity purposes.
But right. But I mean, honestly, it was a tremendous atmosphere, and the game did not disappoint. I mean, absolutely, it was what we thought it would be. It was how the quick hitting by the Macon County offense, long gains, big plays. For Anderson County, it was that short passing game that moved that ball up and down the field, and then they'd offset that with a run. It was everything that we thought we would see in that game. We saw and more.
Yeah, it's one of the few times where we see a hyped up environment and a game actually live up to it. And still wondering now if someone can help us locate that other section of the goalpost where it is, that'd be great, because we're still kind of trying to figure that out. I think it was fished out of the pond, but I'm not quite sure. But if somebody else knows, let us know.
Yeah, it was headed to Sullivan Pond.
So, like the salty Anderson County broadcasters that were there that were just saying it was so disrespectful. Like, Macon County's never been to state before. Sorry, they're an old school team that plays on a grass field with old goalpost, and they're celebrating something. Get over it. I'm sorry your team lost. Tragic.
And this is. I thought it was a very, very bad take because tearing down the goalpost does not mean you're classless.
Yeah.
At all.
Well,
at all. In no shape or form is that derogatory towards your opponent.
Yeah, even if they had never been to state before and they did that there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, here's the thing that I saw. When both teams were lining up and the Macon fans started to make their way, Macon County, the staff there held that crowd back so the players could go through the handshake line. Beautiful move on their part. They moved everybody down the field, and Macon did their celebrating on the one end. Anderson County had their meeting on the other. Never was there any crosstalk. I saw nothing but respect between the players on both teams. A lot of head patting and shoulder patting, and I think that Macon showed class. I think the Anderson County showed class. I think both sides showed class, and I don't understand where that remark came from, other than the fact of you had a couple of people that
were shocked. They were shocked.
Yeah,
that Anderson County come in there and lost that game.
Yeah,
it does happen. I've been on that side of the spectrum before, where you go call a radio game and you go into a hostile environment, and the person tells you before the game, well, I think we're going to beat you by 21 points. And you just have to be like, well, we're just trying to get it to the fourth quarter, and then you wind up winning, and they're like flabbergasted. They can't believe what happened. The point is, if you're playing on Thanksgiving, Black Friday, you're a dang good football team.
Yes,
anybody can be beaten.
And truthfully, I think both sides were incredibly respectful. So, as usually it is, it's never the players on the field. It's rarely the coaches. Usually it's the outside, trying to stir something up. And probably I've talked way too much about something that really was a non-event.
Yeah. I'll say this, and then we got to move on. Not all of these broadcasters are professionals, and sometimes they don't do enough homework. And this was a case of pure ignorance on their part. And that's all I got to say about it. So let's move on. Let's talk about rankings, Joe.
Nashville Christian still at the top. Again, I said it. They'll be at the top until the end of December next year. East Nashville loses on the road to Westview. They gave the Chargers all they could handle in that game. Chalk throughout outside of that.
All right, medium class.
Yeah, I mean, Page still at the top. Macon County is up to 4 now. I think they were at 4 last week. And I kept Springfield in there just because, look at the score. It was 31-7. They actually gave Page a game. So was really impressed with the Yellow Jackets this season. And I think, don't look at their record. They're much better than what that is. So.
And to the large class, it's still Oakland.
It's Oakland. They overtake Ravenwood, who lost on the road last week to Houston. Oakland took care of business, trailed at halftime, and they got the job done. So they get to compete for a gold ball yet again.
All right. And let's handle some more business. Let's go on to the Sellers Funeral Homes Players of the Week. Finals for Player of the Week are as follows. You've got Gabe Borders from Macon County. Check this line out. 265 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns from 7, 70, and 85 yards. Had a tackle and an interception on defense in that 43-41 win over Anderson County. East Nashville's Dallas Cummington in a losing effort, 263 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. Also ran for another TD for the Eagles. Ravenwood's Jalen Pollard, 14 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss, 2 forced fumbles, and a recovery in that tough loss at Houston, 24-21. Oakland's Craig Tutt, 70 rushing yards and a TD on 13 carries. Caught 3 passes for 132 yards in Oakland's win over Maryville. Page's William Weebush, 12 of 14 passing, 131 yards and a touchdown, 9 carries, 48 yards, and another score, and also had 8 tackles in that win at Springfield. Joe, you went with William Weebush. Everybody else going with Gabe Borders.
Yeah, I mean, I figured everybody else was going with Gabe, and I decided to give William some love. He gave up that touchdown early on, and I think he'll be the first to tell you he adjusted from there. Looked really good on offense, and then he was flying around everywhere on defense. So I figured Borders would win this, as he should, but I had to give William some love because he really played out of his mind last week as well.
That's fair. Yeah, and a good point, too. I mean, he definitely did. But it is going to be Gabe Borders winning Player of the Week for the Division I semifinals. So that Macon County senior standout is going to add a little bit of honor to that resume this year. Congratulations to Gabe. Now on to Line of the Week, also presented by Sellers Funeral Homes. Just 3 nominees this time. Macon County's offense, 463 yards. Total offense, 396 on the ground, 67 passing. Oakland's offense, 359 yards. Total offense, 207 on the ground, 152 in the air. And Page's defense that forced Springfield into turnovers on every second half possession last week. But it is Macon County's offense completing the sweep for the Tigers. They get more than 54% of the vote. So Gabe Borders and that Macon County offense, they take home all the hardware for this week in our Players of the Week honors presented by Sellers Funeral Homes. And let's hear from our fine sponsors.
Doing something nice for someone, what a great idea, and Judge Sellers, owner of the Sellers Funeral Home family, is doing just that. The Sellers Funeral Home family, made up of 8 different locations, is proud to sponsor high school athletics throughout the Middle Tennessee area, giving back to the communities that have been so kind to us. That's the Sellers way. Thank you, Middle Tennessee.
All right, so we're going to do things a little bit differently this week. Joe, we're going to go ahead and get your apology in the hopper and out of the way. You're muted, by the way, if you had something to say.
You want me to play it?
How about it?
All right, Macon County fans. I messed up. I'm a fool. I I'm sorry. First and foremost, I got cute last week with my picking Anderson County. Before you go in on me, though, I'm the only one doing an apology this week because Tyson's not on. Everybody else was smart and picked you guys. I didn't. I went with the team that won the 4A state championship 2 years ago. I went with the team that I thought was hot right now, and I picked the wrong team that was hot. It makes me just look like an absolute fool, to be honest with you. And I really just made myself look stupid. I have no excuses, to the whole Lafayette community, the Borders twins, Kyle Shoulders, Chris Brooks, Scott Burton, Annette Burton, everybody in Lafayette. Just know that I am truly indifferent. I'm really sorry. Really sorry.
No truth to the rumor that water came out of Sullivan's Pond either, but it probably wasn't just as cold, I'm sure.
It was 25 degrees out. It was 25 degrees outside.
You can tell it's cold because the steam started coming off of his shoulders.
Yes.
I just can't get over the fact that Joe said I was smart.
I made sure it was cold water. I made sure it was cold outside.
Is this our first example of physical punishment for an apology?
No, Chris punched himself last week.
No, I didn't see. No, it was a bottle. I hit myself in the head with a bottle. I didn't punch myself. I could do that, but I won't.
Same thing.
Yeah, I was going to say
no.
I think the only thing that would have made that better is if he actually did jump in Sullivan's Pond. That would have been really good. Yeah, for sure. All right. We got a lot of games to talk about this week, so we're just going to dive in on those. And so it's going to be a little bit of an
nice segue.
Extended version of who you got. So let's set the scene here for this last week of game picks. It's a 3-horse race between myself, Joe, and Cam. Cam's sitting in third place. He's got a little bit of work to do, and Joe's got the lead right now. But as we saw last year, it can literally come down to the last play.
So I'm pretty certain that these do not have last week's.
Yeah, I don't think this is updated.
You know what? You're right, actually. So I'm gonna ditch those, and we'll just talk about it real quick because.
Well, I mean, we can still use it. I mean, man, you are a game closer.
It did have
that's pretty much how it works.
No, that's not true because anyway. Yeah, Joe's got a game on me. Cam's 3 back. Everybody else is out of contention, but it was a good week for everybody for the most part. We either won 7, 8, or 9 games, and we'll go ahead and even mention our rescue picks as well. Barney was the picker last week and actually got it right with Paige and brings their record to 6-6 on the year. So
somebody needs to go get Barney.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, somebody does.
Somebody needs. I thought Lauren might go after him.
Yeah, well, Lauren just still remains that it was a bottle of Prime, and it was. It was an apology to Pro Cone, and it was a red bottle, so it made sense. Joe.
Why do you hate them? Why do you hate them?
I don't hate Macon County. I just made a stupid pick.
That's fair. He admitted
Let's
it.
be real. Hold on a second.
You want to know the truth? He knew that Chris and Cameron would pick Macon County, and he thought he could still win.
You know what? I don't blame him for that. I don't blame him at all. It was a strategic move, and it just backfired on him.
And he apologized, and he poured water on his head, so I'm good with it.
Because guess what this week is? BTA week, boys. BTA week. I'm coming for all of it, Joe. Just know it.
Oh, good.
I need an adult.
I don't feel
you do. You need an adult. Mm-hmm. Yep. When these picks are done, you are definitely going to need another doll. Let's go. Let's start on Thursday. BGA and CPA. Cam, this is one of your kitchen sink.
Cam
BGA.
changed it.
Yep.
Cam, you were supposed to text him your score.
Yeah, you didn't do that.
My fault.
All right, let's have it.
I think I had CPA 35-21.
Correct.
Okay. See what traffic does to
So
people.
this is what traffic does, but I will explain the reason why I originally did have BGA is because I have to go for it. As you heard, I'm 3 games back, so. And this does have sneaky potential to be a really good game. That BGA team has improved a lot, but ultimately, I think CPA was without Rawls Patterson the first time. I think he's the difference. I think if I was a betting man, I would bet him to be the BlueCross Bowl MVP for that game.
I think of the Thursday games, this one definitely has the most intrigue because BGA's defense has improved a lot over the second half of the season. They put themselves in position to play for this title simply because of that improvement.
Yeah. The difference for me here is the offensive line of CPA. Their ability to give Hudson Chance time to throw, the ability to open holes for Rawls Patterson. I think that in the trenches is where they'll get it done. And I think because of that, CPA has the edge here.
I don't disagree that Rawls is going to be the X factor here, but I mean, in that first matchup, they couldn't guard Owen Cabell, and are they really going to be able to guard him now? I don't think so. Could be a great game. As BGA is playing great ball right now, but CPA, they're just a different beast.
Yeah, what makes them so good is they can do both. But ultimately, if you're BGA, you got to try to limit them to one. You got to try to make them either run the ball or you got to try to make them take those shots and hope you might be able to pick 1 or 2 off. And ultimately, you got to be able to finish drives too.
But that's the question. Which one would you pick if you were BGA to force him? Would you want to stop Rawls Patterson and give Hudson Chance and Owen Cabell, free reign?
I would force him to throw the ball.
Exactly. With the athletes that BGA does have, I think you got to try to hope that you can win a one-on-one a couple times and make something happen on offense.
Yeah, I will say that I did pick CPA, but I mean I've been cheering for BGA this entire season. You called
BGA before the season, so
yeah,
they were Isaac's sleeper state champ.
We did a dark horse picks like for state championship this year, and the second that they said okay dark horse, I immediately texted Joe and was like I picked BGA because I knew they were going to be good. Like I didn't think they were going to be this good, but I mean, geez. But the only reason I went with CPA is just because of the experience that they have. Yeah. BJ is really good, really talented, but this is the first time they've been in a state championship since
2018.
2018. Yeah. So I mean,
let me ask you this, guys. Fast forward to next year. After this year, I know we're talking about this year, but fast forward to next year. Is BGA? You feel like they're the front runners at this level next year with CPA moving up?
It's 1A and 1B.
Yeah,
it's them and FRA. Yeah, I don't think you can distinguish between the two. I think it's those two and everybody else, especially with USJ moving back down to D2A. So,
yeah, the only other team that you might be able to mention there is Boyd.
Yep.
I don't like that Chris is still holding that belt.
Oh,
it scares me.
I'm for it.
I'm having flashbacks, okay? Put the damn belt down.
Oh, Joe, what was going to happen? Nobody wants to listen to me. You will be listening to me later on.
You're overly confident, man, for somebody that's down.
You were overly confident last year.
Yeah,
you were down coming into this weekend.
I was winning last year, just FYI. Like I am.
But I'm pretty sure I was leading you by a game going into the championship week.
If you don't believe in yourself, who's going to believe in you?
True Lions fan right there.
Anyway, because this is BlueCross Bowl week, you have several special guest pickers this week. Here's the first of them.
I know. Let's get the freaks down. Oh, boy.
All right, CPA and BGA.
You ready?
Ready.
All right. The treat's over here.
Oh,
Molly.
yeah, the food's over here.
Molly. Just bitter stuff. Look.
It's okay. That's what editing's for.
Molly. Look, I have chicken. See this chicken? And one of them's over here. There's more.
All right.
Oh.
Oh, she stepped all over him. Uh-oh.
Use your nose. What's right there? Okay. Miss Molly. Yeah. Can't get a good smell. Okay, so this is Molly. She's about 1.5-year-old terrier mix of some sort. She kind of looks like a Yorkie, but just kind of larger. She's about 30 pounds. She was found abandoned in the woods with her 5 puppies. So we got the whole family. We got the puppies and her. And she was a great mama, but they are all ready to find their homes now. And she's a great girl, good with dogs, good with kids, good with everyone.
Oh, for the record, BGA.
Yeah.
I think it was he was picking between 2 cats. I don't think he was feeling it.
That he absolutely did not want to pick a cat.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. And I wanted to show it that way just to show that these are never one-take deals.
No, but I tell you what a sweet pup.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody should go and adopt that pup yesterday.
Yep.
Again, I would, but I've got 2 young kittens and I can't have them eaten, or they would just not like it.
All right. Let's go with the second game on Thursday. Columbia Academy and Nashville Christian. Yeah, we're all Nashville Christian across the board here.
Yeah, I think this is pretty self-explanatory. I mean, Nashville Christian dominated this game in the regular season, and defensively they've given up some points in the in the tournament so far. But I just don't know if Columbia Academy is 38 points better than they were in the regular season. And I just don't think they have the tools to shut down a Jared Curtis and TJ Ward.
Yeah, I agree. I think that they're playing better than they were during the matchup in the regular season, but I don't know to be 38 points better is insane. Monte Baldwin is a great football player, and this Columbia Academy team is going to come out and there's 2 ways it's going to go with it being their first state championship appearance. They're either going to come out full of adrenaline and red hot, or they're going to come out and call it what it is, kind of be shaking in their boots a little bit. I look for Monte Baldwin to have a good first half and see Nashville Christian will pull away late because of the fact that they can do literally anything they want to do on offense. They can throw the ball, they can run the ball. We talked about how dynamic CPA's offense is, but this offense for Nashville Christian is just crazy good. And they got back Bryson Holt 2 weeks ago against Jackson Christian. So that gives them a slot receiver that can take the top off anytime they want to.
Yeah, I mean, it's always hard. I never like picking blowouts. I never like picking one team to beat the other team twice in one season because that's always really hard to do. But when that one team is Nashville Christian, I mean, it's going to be really, really hard to do to beat those guys at all. So I pick Columbia Academy to come out with a little bit of energy, maybe make it interesting for a quarter or 2. But Nashville Christian should handle these guys.
At the beginning of the year, I picked Columbia Academy to win the gold ball. That was my pick going in. But the weirdest thing happened is that Columbia Academy is everything that I thought they were, but Nashville Christian has managed to get better as the season has gone on, which, we already knew offensively they were really, really good with Jared Curtis back there. Now they're better. They're better offensively. They're better defensively. They're better on special teams. that right there, they are playing as complete ball as any team in this state. And because of that, I just could not hold with that Columbia Academy. Monte Ball will get his yards, but Nashville Christian will get the gold ball.
Yeah, just the Nashville Christian show. I mean, when TJ Ward came back and kind of add another dimension to that team, it's just been an absolute.
Hey, it's a wrap.
Yeah, it's a wrap. Yeah, pretty much. Somebody said that. Like Cam, I think you said that earlier this year.
We had a D2 single A coach is actually the one that told me that. They pretty much said when they get TJ Ward, it's a wrap.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's check out this pick.
Hi, Stacy.
This is Stacy. Stacy's only about a year and a half, or about a year actually, just about a year. And she's a mama cat that came in with her 2 babies, and now they're all fixed and ready to be adopted. She's good with others.
Kiki?
Most likely good with kids.
Kiki? There you go.
Nice. She got a little bit too of an eye to treat. That happens a lot when they're just.
And you said that she just had surgery. That's what the cone's for.
She just got fixed. And hi, as you can see, she's gonna show you. She got fixed, so she's very sweet. So the cone's just gonna be on for about a week while she heals. Yeah, Mama.
Oh, Stacy.
You want some chicken? I know we got a cone.
Alright, are you ready for the pick?
Yeah, I'm ready whenever you guys are.
Okay. Alright, I'm gonna wait for me to put.
Okay.
Stacy.
Stacy, it's all you now. Oh, there she is. And Stacy is selected Columbia Academy. Well done, Stacy. Well done. Good girl.
Oh, comparison, because that's a very active pre-snap defender type of cat. I need a comparison. Who would you who's that remind you of?
Don't know. You're asking me to think. Today has not been a day where I'm able to think, to be honest.
I'm kind of thinking Brendan Ains.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's a sweet cat. I mean, that is one of the more loving cats that I've seen there, as far as just wanting human interaction. Yeah, Stacy. If you go down there, ask for Stacy. She'll have that collar off if she's still there. Wonderful cat.
All right, next up, we'll talk a little bit briefly about the other AAA final, Baylor and McCullough. We won't spend a whole lot of time on this because it's out of our area, but here are our picks for the nightcap on Thursday night. As we've all got Baylor in this one, I think that I'm just going to watch the Lions Packers instead.
Yeah, it's not going to be the classic matchup I think we saw last year. McCauley's still really good, obviously, but Baylor's a whole different level. And yeah, I mean, I watched McCauley struggle a couple weeks ago with Ensworth. Defensively, they did enough, but this Baylor offense with David Georges and Shakai Milton-Knight, I mean, it's
Cam Sparks.
It's a wrap.
Yeah, I think that with as big of a rivalry game that is, McCauley's going to have a bitter taste in their mouth after the way that went in the regular season. I think they're going to come out and they're going to compete their tail off, but Baylor's just too much.
Yeah, Baylor's defense is what stands out for me. Jamin Theodore, he had 3 picks in the last game against McCauley. I think that I think they'll get it done. Yeah, and I agree with Joe. The hyphen brigade back there, Mills Knight and Gabriel George is just too tough, I think, for McCauley.
On the bright side, it'll be a good crowd. It's always a good crowd. But yeah, I think this could get ugly.
Yeah,
I just want to say that might be the best backfield duo name I've ever heard.
Yeah, probably a law firm of some
The
sort.
hyphen brigade, that
Hyphen
was pretty
brigade.
good.
Yeah,
That was pretty good.
Um,
yeah,
Chris,
I don't
can you
know.
bring
I don't know if the
Crazy
crowd is
Potato over?
here, but
Yeah, it's the. Go ahead, Scott.
It's the Hendersonville. The Sumner County Humane Society in Hendersonville.
yeah, back behind the Strike and Spare in Hendersonville.
Right off of, is that Old Shackle Island?
Yes.
Yeah. Lots of all of our animals that we've featured this year have come from that location, with the exception of Cam's dog.
All right. Let's move on to Friday's games first. Again, not in our area, but we're going to talk about Alcoa and Westview. Oh, that's not the right one. There we go. 2:00 Central. Wait. Let's go Alcoa Westview anyway. Cam and Scott and Isaac are going with Westview.
It could happen. Maybe. Very possibly.
When you have a quarterback like Graham Simpson and you have a wide receiver core that does not get talked about like they need to, and when I say core, I'm not talking about two guys. They got about six. This Charger offense is really, really good. This is a matchup that we've not really seen Alcoa face in a state championship game in a long time. They're a really high-flying offense. They use quick game to get it out to their receivers in space. Alcoa is, they got a really good front seven, led by Eli Owens at the linebacker position, Michigan commit. Alcoa is Alcoa. Westview's going to have to try to drag them into a shootout. If they can do that, their offense is good enough to pull it off.
Yeah, I agree with you, Cam. It's going to be two of the best quarterbacks in the state facing off in Graff and Simpson. But last week's game that Westview had, where they started out rough and then overcame that and still managed to put up those points, gave me confidence in this team. I think Westview is better than a lot of people realize. That's why I'm taking them. I think that this one's a shootout, and I think Westview is the last one with the ball.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice notion to think that Westview will win this game and they'll keep it close, but this is one of the better Alcoa teams in the last 5 years, and that's saying something. They're chock full of Division I talent, and Westview gave up a ton of points to an East Nashville offense that, it didn't have all of its pieces. They still gave up a ton of points to them. They trailed. Alcoa, if they get out early in this one, I mean, Westview has the potential to keep it close, but we all know how I feel about Alcoa. I ain't picking against them at this point. Simple as that.
Joe, why do you hate Westview? And I'll hang up and listen.
I don't hate Westview. I like Westview quite a bit.
No,
the key for that game, if Westview's going to do it, he's done it so far to this point. We saw him throw his first interception last week. If they can take care of the football, they have a good chance to be in this game late.
Exactly.
That's saying a lot. You're talking about a quarterback that's thrown 56 touchdowns and only one interception as a freshman, which is insane. But if they turn the ball over, this could get ugly in favor of Alcoa.
Yep.
Let's see. Let's talk about that. I believe it's a 1A final here. Real quick, pull that one up. That's not it. And my slides are all messed up tonight.
I'll take blame on that one for not getting the adjustments sent over.
Yeah, let's see. South Pitt and Mace. Well, let's go and talk South Pitt and Mace while I pull that one up.
Yeah, you suck, Cam. South Pitt back competing for gold yet again. Mace Go back if you haven't. Go to NFHS and watch the final 5 minutes of the McKenzie and Mace game because it's freaking wild. McKenzie blew it. I know their fans weren't happy with the refs in that game, but yeah, it was rough. I just think South Pitt's been here, done that. It's going to be two completely different teams. Mace is going to sling the ball around a bit. South Pitt's going to be that ground and pound. We'll run it down your throat. And at this point in the year, I'll take the team that's been there and kind of knows what to experience and also doesn't have to travel 5 hours.
Yeah. The Pirate defense, I think that they're pretty stout. They've got a defensive end. I think it's J.R. Hardrick that is absolutely massive and gets pressure on the quarterback. I like him quite a bit. I expect him to have a good game. But I just think I think that experience has something here. And South Pitt, to Joe's point, has been there, done that. And I think that that'll be a large part of it is that, they know what to expect. They know how to calm those nerves, not make those mistakes. And I think that, now, of course, if Mace can get South Pitt to throw 4 picks like McKenzie did, all bets are off. But I think that South Pitt won't make those kinds of mistakes.
Well, I would just go out on a venture and say South Pitt may not throw the ball 4 times.
Yeah.
They're a really good running team. This is going to be a rare case for South Pitt, though. They have been here and done that, but it's not very often South Pittsburgh Pirate team lines up and they're not the most athletic team on the field. And I think that Mace as a whole will be the more athletic team. That doesn't mean that they're the better team. I did pick them to win the game simply because of how athletic they are on the defensive side of the ball at the linebacker position. I think they're going to be able to keep South Pitt from getting to the edges. They're going to really make South Pitt try to earn it between the tackles. Can South Pitt do so? We'll find out.
Yeah, I like Mace. I mean, what they've done this season has been pretty impressive. And I mean, when you're a team, especially in a small classification, that can pass the ball with any success whatsoever, you're going to be able to exploit a weakness that a lot of small schools have, which is not very athletic defensive secondaries. So I think that Mace can definitely score with South Pitt, but I do not think that Mace's defense has played an offense as tough as South Pitt this entire season. And I don't think they've played a team like South Pitt that has any sort of experience like this. So I think it could be close. I think Mace can make it pretty interesting. But I like the team that's been there. I like the hard-nosed team that can, when it gets ugly, you can trust them.
Let's move on to the nightcap on Friday night with Sevier County and Page. I know a lot of people are waiting on our picks for this one.
Spoiler alert: you won't be surprised.
No, you won't be. And here's why. I mean, 85% of the fans on Page and the rest of us have this one pretty much in hand for the Patriots as well, looking for that first gold ball in school history in their 4th straight attempt.
Sevier County's had an unbelievable season. Just unbelievable. They kind of maybe remind me of Page that first year they made it to Chattanooga, where they had those incredible postseason games where they came from behind, they beat the likes of Henry County, and then, they get to state and they play a powerhouse in Powell and they just don't get the job done. Page is pissed. Page is sick of it. They're sick of the silver. They want gold. They were sick of the silver when that clock struck 0 last year. This is a team that's on a mission. They haven't given up more than 7 points in a game all season. I think Sevier County might be the best offensive team they've played. When you look at that sophomore quarterback, that's going to be a stud. Offensive line-wise, I think that's where they're going to get in trouble. They're big. They are big. They're not very mobile. Eric Hazard is going to have a heyday. Brendan Ains is going to have a heyday. And then when you got William Weebush, Knight Wilson, Justin Bruce, those guys patrolling the secondary, Sevier County hasn't seen anything like that. I think they get the job done.
To me, it's real simple. We talk about everything that Page has on defense. How do they guard against Jude Costner is going to determine how well they defend this Sevier County offense. The whole offense for Sevier County kind of rolls around him. He's a short yardage back for them. He's going to line up at tight end. He's going to line up at H-back. But they want to get him the ball in the flat and make a safety or a corner tackle him. And he's a pretty good sized fella. So ultimately it's going to depend on how well they defend that. But maybe you can tell me which one it was. It was either Eric or Brendan Haynes after the game last year. Light switch, immediate light switch went off. And he said, and he literally told us, we ain't freaking losing.
Yeah, it was Brendan. I mean, they both said it, but Brendan was the one where I was like, oh, all right. not picking against you guys next year.
The thing that struck me was during that trophy ceremony, I looked over there, and the faces were just cold, just ice cold. Like, this ain't happening again.
Yep.
That they've had enough, and we've said it like all year long. And I'll go on a limb. I think that Page has as many sacks as Sevier County has points in this game.
Wow.
I think that the player who's going to be the standout player has got to be William Weebush. I think in this game, they need him offensively to be able to run and pass. But I think even more so, Joe, I think you talked about him, Weebush and Knight Wilson in the defensive backfield. I think they have a really good chance of getting 1, 2, 3 interceptions in this game. With the pass rush that Page has. I expect fully for them to try to take away that passing game, force them to run the ball, and when they force them to run the ball, they're going to run to a brick wall up front. Jordan Curl,
the
Rathbone.
The recipe for Page is do what they did last week against Springfield. Springfield came out, they ran the ball well on their opening drive. They hit a big pass. They took the lead. After that, they did nothing. Gavin Rush is going to be a big part in this because if he's pinning Sevier County back all the way in their own 10, 5-yard line like he can, what are you going to do? You can't move the ball. You can't move the ball against that Page front.
And I just want to play a little bit of devil's advocate here because we're probably going to have some Sevier County listeners watch this at some point, I would say. Keys to victory for you guys is real simple. You cannot afford to get down like you have the last 3 weeks because this is a different level defense than you've seen all year in this Page defense. But you got to have a quick start. If you can have the lead or be right there at halftime to just call it what it is, have a little bit of doubt start to creep into the minds of some of those Page players. That's the keys for Sevier County to try to win this thing.
You talk about getting down early. This Page team this year, I mean, we can argue if they're the best overall team in the state. I know a lot of people could make that argument, but I think other than maybe Alcoa, this is the most suffocating team to play in the entire state. When you play against these guys, it's that they don't let you breathe. So, I mean, Sevier County, I've loved Sevier County this year. I love watching them. I've been cheering for him to get to state. It's a great, amazing story. I mean,
he was stoked.
Yeah, the entire time Joe was telling me the score, and I was like, yes, because I wanted Sevier County to get there. I'm cheering for him, but they were down against a West team. They were down against a Powell team.
They're down against Oak Ridge.
Oak Ridge. That West team was not as good as the West team that they had last year. And even if West made it this year, even if it was the West team from last year, I would pick Page by 2 scores because they're that good. So I'm cheering for Sevier County, but I don't really see anything that they can do for this.
Yeah, this was my final matchup in 5A prior to the playoffs because I'm not surprised Sevier County's here. They've had a heck of a year. They're a very good football team. It's just that the teams over there in East Tennessee are not as good as they have been in recent years, and Page has been the standard in 2024, and they'll show why. We have a special pick for that too, but that's coming up here in just a minute, Scott.
Well, I was just going to say what can happen is if somehow Page does get behind early, they can't panic. They can't.
They don't. I mean,
pressure.
they don't, though.
they need to just do what they do best, which is line up and hit. But yeah, this Sevier County team is a very, very good offensive team. They're fun to watch. They really are. But I think against Page is just on a mission this year, and it started last year in Chattanooga.
It started
And
2 years ago.
yeah,
It started after that first West loss.
Yeah.
They knew. Well, yeah, the Powell one. That was one of those situations where, like, dang, we got here and we nearly did it. The West one was the first West. They're like, man, we're better than this. Last year, we should have won. This year, we will win. It's wild to watch. So
yeah. I mean, it's it's going to be a very interesting game.
Like I said, we do have a pick for that one coming up in just a minute, but we've got it looped in with our 6A pick as well. So we'll view that in just a couple of minutes. So let's go ahead and talk about that first game on Saturday with Macon County at Melrose. That's going to be a 10 a.m. kickoff on Saturday. Let's go ahead and show the picks. I mean, 87.5% of the fans on Macon County, all of us are on the side of the Tigers, but some in a different fashion. But I think most of us agree that this will be a pretty fun competitive ball game.
For me, it's real simple. If Macon County can find a way to slow down newly minted Texas A&M commitment Jamarian Marrow, the 4-star out of Melrose, the running back, they win this game. I don't know if Melrose has seen something quite like Macon's offense this year in the Borders Twins. I picked against Macon last week, and I was an idiot. I'm not dumping water on myself again. So give me the Tigers, and I think we're going to have scenes similar to that of Procone last year when Procone won the state title. Maybe more.
Yeah, so similar to last week, I mean, this Melrose team has big play potential all over the field, the same way Anderson County did. And we saw Macon County kind of say, you're not beating us deep. We're going to keep everything in front of us. We're going to make you earn it. And I would kind of expect them to bring the same approach. You said Jamarion Morrow was a running back commit. He is a running back commit, but he's actually the quarterback on this Melrose team. Mm-hmm. And one thing that I noticed in that game against Pearl, it's a lot of one read, and if it ain't there, I'm running.
Yep.
So if Macon County I fully expect Macon County to go one-on-one on the outsides and trust Zach Borders and Gabe Borders and Braylon Flowers to line up and match up one-on-one. The key for the defense for Macon County is going to be the linebackers, because if they can keep Morrow inside of the pocket, they can shut down this Melrose offense, in my opinion. But if he gets outside of the pocket, he has the speed and the elusiveness to hurt you in a big way very quickly. But as you said, Joe, don't think Melrose has seen offense as explosive and as odd as a wing T hybrid type offense is what Macon County runs. And we talked with Coach Shoulders after the game last week. It's really like preparing for two offenses, because he lines up in the first half and he does this, and then he lines up in the second half and he comes out in a true fashion wing T. I mean, it's just so hard to defend.
And the way he talked about this offense too was that they line up and spread sometimes, and they actually want to slow the game down in the spread and go faster in the wing T, which is kind of their MO. You think it's a little bit more backwards. You think you want to go faster in the spread and slow it down the wing T, but the way they block it, the way they run it in the wing T, they can go at a pretty quick clip in that wing T and beat you with three different guys. It's not just Gabe Borders, it's Zach Borders, it's Luke Gammett as well. And Braylon Flowers also has a big hand in offense as well.
It's like Cam, I know it's the same thing, but what Macon can't overcommit. They can't. I mean, they need to run to the ball and play both sides. Play across the field, move it sideline to sideline. But they can't overcommit too much, because he will come back. But the backside backers that are away from the play need to slide over and realize that the play's not over. Morrow has a habit of jump throwing across his body into the defense. There are picks to be made there if they can pull that off. He is the ultimate improviser. He is the ultimate improviser. He does, but he makes some risky throws that Macon may be able to take. Gammon and both of the borders could take advantage of.
Make
But
him
I
throw.
think that go ahead.
Make him throw. He'll beat you with
Make
his
him-
leg. Make him throw.
Make him throw because Pearl made some of those same picks.
Yeah,
They
which
made some of those same picks. They just couldn't capitalize.
Pearl was also very good about keeping him in the pocket.
Yes.
And like I said, he's very much appears to be a one read, and I'm going to try to run. And if your ends don't fly up the field and kind of go a little bit at a wider rush, you can tend to try to keep him between the tackles, and that's how you make him throw the ball, as Joe said.
I expect Melrose to counter by trying to key on stopping the run with their linebackers, but we saw last week that Macon can throw it when needed, and that may they'll need to hit a couple of those as well to keep that honest. But
yeah, and
let
one
me tell
thing
you,
that I noticed in the Pearl recap too was you mentioned Melrose's linebackers. They flow heavily to the ball. Later in that game, they were literally cheating plays, going strong side every time. Isaac, against the wing T offense, there's a lot of stuff disguised there to hit them with a backside counter, to hit them with a read option quarterback counter, and that sort of thing. If Melrose starts to flow like that, look for Kyle Shoulders to lean on that counter play. And really, when that counter play is there, most time it's going for 6.
Yeah, you're right. I will say I absolutely despise the wing T offense. I think it's the ugliest offense in all of football. It's insanely easy to trick someone, but if the defense is good, there's no way that you can do anything because all you got to do is pay attention to your assignments, and it's easy. But this game is my most anticipated game of the entire weekend. I'm expecting a huge Macon County crowd. I'm expecting like Tullahoma from 2 years ago or 2 or 3 years ago level. I'm expecting the entire town to show up. I saw we posted in our group chat that you're allowed to bring artificial noisemakers, so I'm expecting everything. This game, I think it's going to come a lot down to coaching and to the scheme that Macon puts in, especially on defense. If they do what they did against Upperman, where they say, you're not running the ball on us, you're going to have to tough us out and try and beat us with your arm, but I don't think that Melrose can. I think that Macon is going to scheme up a great defense, control the line of scrimmage, make them get uncomfortable, and I think Macon's going to choke them out.
Also, too,
go
they
ahead,
cannot
Phil.
kick. They cannot kick to either of the Borders twins because those two have house ability on kickoff and punt returns. Look for Macon to start with a lot of short fields.
I'm not familiar enough with Coach Morrow to know, his scheme or anything. I do know Kyle Shoulders. I don't know of a more prepared coach that goes out there. Offensively, he's dang near genius when it comes to it. And I think that ultimately this is going to come down to these guys lining up and playing. But I think Coach Shoulders is going to have some, the way he adjusts and the way he attacks this is going to have a big effect on the outcome of this game.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, this is Sunny, and he is one of Scott's rescue kittens.
He will be making the pick tonight between Macon County and Melrose. Thank y'all for watching. Bye.
This evening, Sonny will be choosing between Macon County Tigers and Melrose. And Sonny chooses Melrose.
You
Well,
can't go wrong.
he is a golden cat, so
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say, yeah, golden wildcat.
he saw a cat and just went for it. It's whatever.
Well, they're both in Reggie training, both he and Butch.
Yeah.
So,
All right, let's move on. We'll talk real quickly about Marion County and Milan, that 2A final. Another intriguing ball game here, next to last one of the season, and our picks kind of reflect it.
I think this will be a great matchup. I think they're very similar in a lot of ways. Two really good athletes going at it in this one. I just think, I don't know. Coach Comer's been here before with McKenzie and Milan. Outside of that JCM loss this year, they look really good. I could see this one going either way, and if it went that way, I'd be like, all right, that makes sense. So should be a really good game. Excited to see how it goes down.
yeah, I think this is probably one of the tighter games of the weekend. Both teams have really, really great athletes in Sam Pickett for Marion County and Jaden Pete for Milan. Pete, of course, is a Mr. Football finalist. Should be a barn burner, run the football. Whoever controls the line of scrimmage is probably going to win the game. I did flip this one because Joe, I need to catch Joe, right? So I did flip this one, but ultimately I do think Marion has a little bit more of a established supporting cast around Pickett.
Yeah, this is going to be Macon and Melrose is my most anticipated game, but this will probably be the game I have the most fun watching just because it's my favorite kind of football. Just two small schools just punching each other in the mouth, seeing who gives up first. I think Marion, you're right, has a little bit more of a diverse options as far as attacking you. And just the way that they've handled this postseason has been very impressive. So I think that it'll be close, but I think in the end, Marion's more options is going to win out here.
I happen to like Milan, and the reason is defense. I like the Cunninghams, and I'm not talking about Richie and Howard. I'm talking about Markel and Mikkel Cunningham. One's defensive end, one's the linebacker, and along with Jaden Pete at the other middle linebacker, they run a 3-4, I believe, with Pete and one of the Cunninghams in the middle. These guys, they're constantly making hits. They're constantly hitting the gaps. They're forcing early throws. I think they have a really good chance to shut down the Marion County offense, slow them down at least. And I think that right there is going to be the key of the game is Milan's defense against the Marion County offense.
All right, let's shift gears and go toward that 6A final on Saturday night with Oakland and Houston, a rematch of last year's championship game. And, well, I was leaning Oakland.
The belt will probably come down to this game. The belt will come down to this game, potentially, if my other picks don't go right. This would be a great game. What Houston does well, Oakland doesn't defend well. I think Chandler Day got his feet wet in this game last year. He's a very effective runner for that Houston offense. They got a really good running back. They're kind of loaded with Division I talent in a lot of places, a lot of up and coming guys. I think it'll be a better game than what we saw last year. I think DeJuan Morris and Craig Tutt will do what they do. And I know Coach Creasy was planning as soon as this game ended the other night. As soon as their game against Maryville ended the other night. But I don't know, man. This is kind of like my Knox West and Page pick last year. I had a feeling about Houston. The more I talked to people, the more I started really liking Houston this one, and I just couldn't pick against the Mustangs. So, and I also figured everybody else would be picking against Oakland, so why the hell not?
Cam, how quickly do you think was Creasy watching film on this on the bus ride home
Well, he ran home.
last year?
You want to know the truth?
Yeah.
He probably started watching film about 3 weeks ago. That's the honest truth.
I
That's the
just
honest
think
truth. You asked for the truth. That's the truth.
I asked for the truth. I didn't. What? You answered it. I think that the Patriots are getting healthy at the right time. Tut is not Tut. TT Hill. TT Hill is getting better, coming back from that wrist injury a little bit. Dwan Morris is playing out of his mind now. And this is a Houston team that has given up 100-yard games several times this year. I know that doesn't, 100 yards doesn't sound like a lot, but I think that with this Oakland team, being able to hold on to the ball, being able to run the ball, keep Houston's offense off the field, I think Creasy finds a way this year to mitigate that passing game and come out on top.
Yeah, I was very nervous, doubtful even picking Oakland to win this. Their defense, especially towards the end of the season, has just really scared me. It's Oakland, so you trust them, but their defense has been really iffy, and this could get very ugly. This could get very embarrassing. Houston could run away with this, but at the end of the day, I looked at Oakland's backfield with that three-headed monster, and I said I can't pick against that. I think Oakland is going to basically do what Oakland does, try and hold on to that ball, kill time, and kind of dominate this game. But we'll see.
Yeah, if there's one thing that this Oakland defense does very, very well, is their front four is pretty good. Their defense has had issues in this postseason against the pass with Mount Juliet and Riverdale. But what they were able to do last week against Maryville was a huge step in the right direction, especially for me picking them this week. But, man, Scott says you don't pick against Engel Martin. I don't pick against Kevin Creasy. It's just that simple. This is why he gets paid the big bucks. This is why he's a top 3 coach in the state. This is kudos to Houston. You just outright beat him last year. You beat him. But when you beat that man, there's a little bit of a trigger that goes off on the inside that he becomes a totally different animal and he wants his revenge. And I think this Oakland team outscores Houston. I think it's a shootout for sure.
All right, Joe.
I don't know if Oakland has somebody that can cover Derek Miller. 1,000-yard receiver for him. He's the reason they beat Ravenwood last week. And Chandler Day, man, he's just gotten better and better the last couple of years.
Hey, Craig, that sounds like a challenge to me.
Okay. I mean, Craig's going to be playing both ways. Houston
for sure.
Houston ain't going to have their guys going both ways. If Oakland's going to win this game, it just can't be the DeJuan Morris show. They're going to need Craig and TT to step up, and that's going to hurt them. That's going to hurt them on the defensive side of the ball.
For sure. I would agree with that, but one person that we've not mentioned that they're going to need that has played really a lot better this year, Skylar Creasy.
Yeah.
They're going to have to throw the ball probably 10 times or better. You got to be high proficiency, 70% or better. Take care of the football, no turnovers. And ultimately, you just got to make more plays than the other team.
Do you think they slide Chase Bandy over to cover that receiver?
I'll do something.
I think it's going to be – if I had to bet,
it'll be Craig. Yeah, it'll be Tut.
Best on best. I mean, it's –
and I'm just wondering if that'll take him away offensively a little bit. I mean, the thing where Houston won this game last year was up front, and Damon Cisa ran all over him. Marcellus Davis is a damn good running back for him this year. So, and then you add
He is, and one thing that I noticed last week against Ravenwood is a lot of their runs, it's almost like designed outside counters. They're literally, so they'll hand it off to the running back going left, and he will bounce that thing all the way to the right, all the way around the end. He doesn't try to bounce it off the tackle or between the tackles. He goes to the sideline. That's one thing. That's one area where Oakland struggled last year with Cisa is off tackle. I do think that Oakland defensive front four is best at the edge. So if they can set a good hard edge and keep him between the tackles, that kind of makes Houston somewhat one-dimensional. Stop the slant patterns, and you're in a good spot.
I kind of think that this may be a little bit of a slower pace game. It kind of has to be, because if those guys are playing both ways, you want to give them a breather, and I'm baking that into my score prediction. Oakland needs to keep this a little bit lower scoring. If they can do that, then I do think they win. But if they don't, then if it gets into the shootout, I'm definitely nervous about that. Joe, let's fire up those last two picks and put a wrap on it.
Yeah.
All right, this is my sassy little queen, Penny.
She's posing.
I don't know why she does this whenever the camera gets brought out. She has to do this little side eye. She is a rescue. Hi, sweetheart. Get down. Get down. I rescued her, 8 years ago now. She's my first animal post-college. She's the best girl ever, and she's going to be making some picks today, determining who we think will win some state championships this year. Yeah? You ready to make some picks? You want some cheese? That's what she's most excited about.
So we have Sevier County and Page. It's dinner time for Penny. Wait.
All right, go down. Go down. Go ahead. Eat. Come on. Come on, Pink. Pink, come on. Come on. And she's rolling with the Patriots.
One more. We got one more. Where's she gonna go? Where's she gonna go? Which one you want? Which one you want?
And she's rolling with the Patriots yet again.
Good girl. She's a good girl.
You have to get her a star-spangled collar.
That had to be filmed over 2 days, because yesterday when I tried to do it, she refused to eat the treats I had. Refused. She's like, "You have a camera on me." But apparently when it's dinner time, she's a diva. But yeah, rolling with Patriots both times. She's very patriotic, in case you couldn't tell.
Her side eye is wonderful.
It's hilarious. She's had that since the day I got her. It's hilarious.
Hey, Chris, can you pull Dalton's over?
Let's see. Which one?
I want to see what you guys think about that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell. I don't know. I don't disagree, but I don't agree.
By definition, if it's a blowout, then you can make that argument. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can make that argument for sure. It's just, it is what it is. That happens every year in some classification where the championship game is played before the championship game.
It could happen. It could happen this year with more than one game. So
yeah.
Good point. Very good point.
All right, let's put a bow on this one and get ready to head toward Chattanooga. Last word before we get out of here. Isaac, I want you to hit lead off.
Well, this is my favorite part of the year. It's fun, even though it gets cold. It's kind of sucks being out there, but every year I look forward to getting to Chattanooga. It's 3 days of nothing but high school football. It's the best. For fans traveling down there, be safe. I'm expecting some great crowds. Explore the city of Chattanooga. It's really nice down there. And for the kids that are playing the last game, whether you win or lose, not many people make it here. So it just take some time and remember it, because, like I said, whether you win or lose, it's going to be something to remember.
Yeah, I mean, exactly, Isaac. Remember it. no matter what happens, win, lose, or draw. I know if you lose at this level, it's gonna sting, man. There's no way around it. But one day you'll look back and you'll be able to realize what an accomplishment it is to get to play for a state championship. But my message is for all the teams out there that's going to be competing this week. It doesn't matter how you got here. There's teams with 3 losses. There's teams with 4 losses. There's teams undefeated. Ultimately, you're here. You have a chance to go win a state championship. It's not going to be given to you at this point. Go take it. Go take it. Go earn it, right? And you've earned it since literally, last January. Starts in the weight room in January and off-season workouts. So enjoy it. Go take it. I'm excited. We're going to freeze on Thursday. We're going to thaw out a little bit on Friday. And then Saturday is going to be the dessert to finish off the high school football season, and I can't wait.
No. Unfortunately for me, I'll won't be attending this year. This will be the only the second one I've missed since we started this venture. The other time I had COVID and was in the hospital. I feel slightly better about that time than I do about this time. But that being said, if you've got the chance, I fully recommend attending. And don't just attend the game that, make a day of it. This is, the greatest spectacle in TSSAA football for sure, arguably in all of TSSAA. These kids get to play on a college field, in some respects, a college atmosphere, depending on your college. But it's a great chance to enjoy the city of Chattanooga. TSSAA does a tremendous job with it. So, go down there, take your families, enjoy the weekend. Hopefully your team wins. Be safe traveling down there, and please be safe coming back. We appreciate you. We love you. We want you back here next year, just like this year. Have fun.
Yeah, kind of off topic a little bit. I didn't get to say it earlier. My little sister's brother, on her mom's side, won a state championship in Indianapolis. I know they kind of watch occasionally. I do want to congratulate him and the rest of the Brownsburg Bulldogs. Congratulations. Very happy for you guys. And my old high school coach, Coach Hart, won a state title. So kind of cool there. Go win the damn thing at this point. I mean, silver's for losers. Go win gold. I mean, you built up the whole season for this. We got a lot of teams that can bring home gold this week. Excited to see what they do. For Macon County, excited to see what you guys do for CPA and BGA. I think it's going to be a hell of a game. For Oakland, prove me wrong. For Page, do the damn thing. That's all I got to say. Chris and I have some really cool projects going on with two of these schools in particular. Those will be out after the BlueCross Bowls, and it'll be fun. I'm excited to cover the state championships yet again with these guys and go live on Saturday night as your reigning defending champion. It's going to get done, guys. Simple as that.
Chris, take the belt from him.
With force. All right, all kidding aside. This message is for all the players out there. Empty the tank. You got nothing left to save it for. There's no game after this. You're here for a state championship. Silver sucks. Gold is great. As the legendary Shane Falco once said, pain heals, chicks stick scars, glory lasts forever. It's your shot at it. Now go out there and take it. That's all I got. We're out of here. We'll see y'all in Chattanooga, and we'll see you back here a week from tomorrow night to put a bow on this season. It's been a fun one. Let's go crown some champions, guys.
All aboard.
Make sure you're following all of our socials. It's going to be a jam-packed couple days.
Yes, very much so. All right. Everybody here at
And if you
615
see these guys out there, stop and say hi to them.
True that.
and make fun of us for picking wrong teams.
Well, they do anyway.
Just Joe.
So.
Just Joe. No, just Cam.
Yeah.
You hear that, Macon County? Y'all better let him hear it.
Yep. For all of us here at 615 Preps, we'll see you in Chattanooga. Have a safe trip down and a safe trip back, and we'll see you next Wednesday.